Hello and welcome back to Talk Seagulls. And yeah, what a game that was, eh? 2-1 against Bournemouth. Very disappointing result, to say the very least. But we're back in the Caxton Arms again in Brighton, not far from the station. It's good to be here again. I'm with Luke again, mate. It's a bit of a underwhelming start to the season, isn't it? Apart from the great Man City moment, but I feel like we've really started a little bit lacklustre, haven't we? The defeat to Bournemouth sort of was inevitable in a weird way, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, I said 2-0 the other day, so, yeah, inevitable. Truly one of the games of all time, isn't it?
Yeah, it was one of them.
One of the games of all time. Really quite disappointing, but classic Brighton, isn't it? You go from beating Man City to playing absolutely awful football and just not looking like you could hit a cow's arse with a banjo. So
yeah. No, that's pretty fair. I've got to be honest, it's pretty fair. I mean, I'm saying we're going to do a review of this game. There isn't too much to review, luckily for me anyway. But the actual day out was pretty fun, I'll be honest. Apart from the storm coming back along the M27 afterwards, wasn't quite so fun. But the actual, I do like Bournemouth away, I'll be honest, I do. I know that we don't do well there, but I quite like how close to the pitch you are. It's quite an old stadium. It's a rubbish stadium, but at least you actually get to see the game a bit, and it's all right. It's not too bad. But for the game itself, do you feel like because of the injuries, it ruined the game plan maybe, or do you feel like it was something that was kind of inevitable anyway? As you say, do you feel like they were always going to beat us regardless?
Well, we didn't start off very well, but I mean, getting an injury 15 seconds into the game and one where your player has to come off genuinely is going to throw you off quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I guess we can sort of put some of it down to that. But when you get that goal and then you have chance after chance after it and you don't do enough of it, you can't blame the injuries on that. Because if people aren't taking their chances, as we usually do, can't do anything about that, can you? So
no. Yeah, I mean, I think the Decai one was really unfortunate as well, but as was Jack Hinchwood's. Jack Hinchwood, I really, really feel sorry for him. What was it, 15 seconds in, as you say? It was literally the first action of the game. And it looks like he rolled his ankle, didn't it? It went sort of pretty horribly. So fingers crossed for his sake that he's okay. But from Fabian Hertz's words at the end, it didn't sound great, to say the least.
Came off with a boot and crutches after the game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he said it could be a while, but he said he's not a doctor, so yeah, we'll wait and see.
That'd be weird if you had a doctor for a manager.
I mean, it'd be quite cool in a weird way, to be fair. Imagine having Dr. Fabian as a manager.
They're just like, come on, and then your manager runs.
He's sorted out, he's all right. But yeah, no, I think, hopefully, fingers crossed for Jack's sake, he's okay. And the same for Maxime de Kuyper again. We spoke about him last week as not starting too badly in his Brighton career, and it's an unfortunate one, really. I didn't actually think it was a foul. I know people were saying it's a foul, but I feel like it was just a bit of a coming together. It was a bit aggressive, maybe, but I felt like it was just a bit of a shove, bit of this and that, and then he's just fallen, unfortunately, into the advertising boards, which are dangerously close to the pitch, it has to be said. And where he's whacked into it, you could just tell it had hurt him because he sat off the pitch for a while and then went down sort of a couple minutes later, and that was the end of his game. So to have that sort of in the first sort of 10 minutes was a really unlucky start to the game, to say the least. But I wouldn't put it down to... I saw a lot of people saying that this is the reason why we lost, and, because of this, it's an unlucky result. And what really worried me at the end of the game was how the manager said that we controlled and dominated. And I thought...
Yeah, no.
Did we? I mean, he must have been watching a very different game to me, and it did annoy me a little bit because it's not the first time this has happened. Sometimes I can sort of just let stuff go. But for me, I just think fans aren't stupid. I don't think. Yeah, we can be a bit stupid. We're fans like this, but everyone is. It's football. It's an emotional game. But on the linear sort of drawing a line of best fit for opinion, we're not idiots. Like, we pay a lot of money to go watch this team play every single week, and to come away from games and just be told you dominated in a game that you clearly didn't. And if Bournemouth were any better, a little bit better on the day, I think they could have easily taken us for a few more goals, to be honest. And from Bournemouth's perspective, it's an easy game plan, mate. Put the ball into us, overload us for second balls, And they didn't really. They went a little bit rough and tumble with us because they knew that's how to get the better of us. And I don't think we really showed any reason to suggest that we deserved anything out of this game, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I'm not one of those like Hertzler naysayers, but he does come out in interviews quite a lot and say some stuff that I'm a little bit like, bit weird, mate. Especially that, like, not just looking at the actual game. If you just look at the stats, you can clearly see we did not dominate and we didn't deserve it. Obviously, as I've already said, we had those chances after we scored, but you can't just put it down to like 10, 15 minutes of dominance to dominate the whole game.
Mate. Honestly, it was like about 10. I think Mitoma scored. It was a good moment to score. It's like, I think it was 10 between that and the next goal for when Bournemouth scored. So, I mean, we had 5 minutes probably maximum where you would say, yeah, we're on top there. Should have done a little bit more maybe. Mint had a couple chances. We're coming forward. But I wouldn't say there was any point after that point where Bournemouth then went for 2-1 that we were really coming back into that. Heads just dropped. So I said to my dad at the time, I was like, well, see if heads drop now. It'd be interesting. I didn't really feel like it was there for us. Maybe a couple of pushes at the end, but nothing enough to say, oh yeah, we dominated and should have won that. It's delusional.
We have this issue of we could be on top, but we'll just let the other team score, and then heads completely drop, and we just completely lost it. The goal and like the lead up to the penalty wasn't good. Like the ball given away, and then
it's poor.
5 players on one person not able to get the ball back. And I don't know what Van Hecker's doing. It's stupid thing to do. I actually got a message from my mate being like, oh, no way was that a penalty. And I was like, I really think you're watching the wrong game, mate.
I know what people are saying. Like, it's a dive, but it's also a penalty.
But he's
if
stuck
you put
his leg
your leg out like
yeah.
that, I mean, Semenyo is good enough as well. But most players in the Premier League are going to take advantage of it. And Semenyo is always going to. He's a brilliant striker. I rate him really highly.
Evan Nilsson, actually.
Evan Nilsson, sorry. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. But
they're both brilliant.
The thing is, you put your leg out like that, right? It's not necessarily a dive. He's made the most of it. It's a foul, but he's made the most of it. So it's not necessarily a dive. But like, it's just a stupid thing to do, especially from where we were. Like, as I say, 4 or 5 players around one player. And the same thing happened against City. Our defence just looks... Oh, it doesn't look the same as last season. I mean, I don't think we were amazing defensively last season, but like, it's just stupid mistakes and like overcrowding people. And then we just seem to do it every single game. And we had it again against Fulham last minute. We had like 4 players on Smith Rowe and just let him run. He had that shot, went out for a corner, and then they scored from the corner in the last minute. That's one thing we really need to kick out because it is so annoying and it's so frustrating seeing that. An easy thing to kick out of the game. Stupid mistake to make. And like, again, penalty, Van Hecker just being stupid, sticking his leg out, and you're going to make the most of it. You're going to get the penalty. Like, there's no denial it was a penalty in my opinion. But yeah, that's just something we really need to kick out because it's happened a few times this season and it's getting very, very, very annoying.
Yeah. What do you put it down to? A bit naivety, tactical naivety, or do you put it down to just some moments of madness? I mean, we've had how many now of these sort of moments where we look like we're in somewhat control of the game and then it's like everything just goes out of our head and we go completely mind blank and it's like, what's going on now? Well, okay, we're just going to pass it straight to the Bournemouth player to break, or we're going to, you know what I'm trying to say? These moments happen quite regularly now.
I mean, Fulham, we were in control. And I mean, Fulham are, and I've got some Fulham fan friends, right? And they always like to give it the big because we never really beat them. We only beat them once in the Premier League. But they are an embarrassing team, and the way they play is absolutely awful. And I'm not going to sit there and I'm not just being biased or anything. Their play is absolutely ridiculous. They time waste, they fall on the floor and all that. Enough. And we were on top, couldn't take our chances, and were stupid in defence, naive, as you've already said, and just let them get a goal, which is what we've done. We've done that since the Championship. Yeah, we sit back and let teams get a goal. We don't try and push for stuff. I've noticed. Obviously, we had that 10 minutes against Bournemouth, but you don't take your chance to take your foot off the gas, and then some stupid mistake like that happens. And again, naivety in defence. You have 5 players on 1 player and nothing. You can't get the ball back, and then they get a penalty.
I always remember a quote from De Zerbi all the time, and he would always say that. Do you remember the Sassuolo moment where he missed out on Europe through goal difference? And he would always say, you have to kill the game.
Yeah.
And he said, even if we have killed the game, then we've got to get more goals because we want to make sure that at the end of this season, we don't miss out on goal difference. Can you imagine how frustrating that would be? And I always remember that. And then you come up against the West Hams of the world, the Wolves games, the 6-0, the 4-0, the 5-0s. And we'd just love to smash these teams. And I think on another day, that was there for us. I don't think, again, and I've said this every single game this season, that we had to make Bournemouth work that hard for that. And we see it again against City. I mean, we started, first 65 minutes was just not great. We didn't play well till James Milner got a penalty, and then that's when the game changed. And I think that's what's frustrating to me, is I don't feel like we've played well for so long. I feel like we've played well for, 35 minutes of this season so far? Maybe 40 minutes, do you reckon?
I think Fulham, we actually played pretty well. We just couldn't take our chances. And the way Fulham play, we actually did all right with it. It was just at the end where we were absolutely useless.
Maybe I'm blinded by that last penalty. I think I was more annoyed about the Everton performance than I was the Fulham performance, if that makes sense.
Maybe, but I mean, the Everton performance was absolutely awful.
But it wasn't good. But this is what I mean. This is what annoys me, because I remember doing these podcasts. I remember doing See Your Social podcasts. I remember talking about Brighton, and I would always back the managers. And like, people think it's some sort of thing that I've got. Oh, I don't back the manager anymore, and whatever. But I would always back Graham Potter through the mud, because I could see that we're playing well. And our biggest problem was we were creating chances and we couldn't score goals, remember? Whereas
expected goal FC,
yeah, we were expected goals FC, and I could live with that, because I thought, okay, the performance are there. You can see that the trajectory of the performances will surely equal results, will surely equal goals, wins for games, goals, etc. But when it's a team like this at the moment, where I think we've got a better side than we did then, by far. Minte and Mitoma are 2 of our best players we've had in a very, very long time. They're fantastic, and they've been instrumental so far this season. But I don't feel like we're truly getting the best out of these players. And I feel like that for the last year and a half. I don't think we're getting the best out of these players. And that's why I'm frustrated about it, because I want to be able to see some sort of results or some sort of process that we keep being told, oh, trust the process. I need to see a process, because I can't see a process at the moment. I really want to be proved wrong, but we're 50 games into Hertzler's tenure. 50. By this point, under De Zerbi, from when Graham Potter had left, we had already gone to Europe. We'd been to Amsterdam. And by February, Hertzler would have been at the club for the same amount of time as De Zerbi was at Brighton. That's mental.
The problem is, you can see in that last 30, 40 minutes against City the potential this squad has and how good we can play.
Exactly.
Because we were honestly some of the best football I've seen us play for a very long time, and we looked like how we should in that last 30, 40 minutes when those substitutions were made. And the play was just, it was absolutely brilliant. But we just look like we don't want to play like that half the time. Half the players don't look really into it or what, especially Baleba as well.
That's a big talking point.
It's a big talking point, because he doesn't seem to care at the moment.
What do you think of Carlos Baleba? Do you think it's caring? Because I think when he came out, the manager came out at the end and said that, he backed up Baleba and said that he's a young player that's going through a lot, which I agree with. But the performances on the pitch are a little bit worrying.
Performances on the pitch are worrying, and it's definitely some sort of ill-informed thing from his agent, like every agent does with young players. But either way, even at the end of the season, Man United aren't the team he should go to.
Yeah.
And they weren't the team he should have gone to this season either.
But you can see why the head gets turned at a club of United stature.
Yeah, I know.
It's a massive club. I mean, if United were emailing me today, offering me the amount of money that Carlos is probably being waived, you're going to have a look.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
We'll have a look.
And you're going to. It's natural. He's 20 years old. 21. We can't be angry at him for even thinking about it, because that's how football is. But at the same time, now the transfer window's shut. You have to just get on with the job on the pitch. We also have to support him as fans, as we do.
Yeah.
But I think when we're seeing these performances at the moment, I struggle to just put it on Baleba. It's not just Baleba. It's most of the players on the pitch. As you say, it doesn't feel like... Again, we go through these really weird patches of being really, really poor. And then we can have moments, as you say, like that last half an hour, 25 minutes against Man City, where we're fantastic. Mm-hmm. But that fantastic needs to last for longer than 5 to 20 minutes. You can't just do that every so often when it could be, because that's just inconsistency. That's not a process. That's an inconsistency. A process would be if that's clear. There's a clear vision every single game, but maybe there's a slight foot wrong. That's not how it is.
We seem to love giving a goal to other teams. That's one of the things. That's one of the things we've always done. But you talk about like under De Zerbi, we weren't that. I mean, ever since the Championship days, I've always seen us loving to give a goal away, or like sitting back and letting a team score or something when we're 1-0 up. You talk about De Zerbi and like goal difference and stuff like that. You saw like games played against like Palace 4-1.
Yeah,
we'd literally just scored, and then we go up the other
straight
end
again.
It was genuinely one of my favourite Brighton moments ever. Yeah. I was going absolutely mental.
Same here.
It was absolutely brilliant. And then later on in the game, we score a fourth, and don't look under no pressure at all, and don't have to worry or anything. Like about a month later we play Liverpool, and Solly March scores again, and then we go and score a third as well, and again look completely comfortable. It's weird because the way I saw that last half an hour against City was sort of how we looked then, just going forward and not having like any sort of worry, having so much confidence. And the performance against Bournemouth just, again, is quite worrying and makes you think what is actually going on and what's going on with Baleba. And like, I mean, Dunk, I think, has been quite good this season, but obviously is at fault against Bournemouth, and there's no like denying that. But he's not like the scapegoat. I don't want to make Baleba the scapegoat.
No, nor
either.
do I. Yeah,
but it does have to be said because he was, in my opinion, our player of the season last season, and he just looks completely off it.
Yeah, he does. It doesn't look like he can thread two passes together. That confidence you say, that energy isn't there. He'd normally be the sort of person that's driving that forward. And you know, even that shot that went over the bar, you think the Carlos Baleba last season would have really drilled that or made the right decision about it. It feels really weird. He even put his hand up to apologise to the players as he passed back to the goalkeeper, which he did, I think, on about 2 or 3 occasions. And it's just moments like that, you know, where you think Carlos Baleba last season would not even have thought to turn around and pass the ball back to the goalkeeper. He would have tried to make something happen, put it out wide, make Karim Matoma make a run in, get Minte on the other side, Jorginho's in there, make something happen. I don't think that was even part of his thought process, and hasn't been really since all of this noise has been ongoing. And I do feel from a little bit in the sense of it must be quite a lot for having all of this talk around you and being this, you're almost made into this massive famous name now, where you weren't so, only a year ago. And now everyone's smiting you for £100 million and talking about you for massive clubs. It must be quite a lot to then think, okay, well, that's not going to happen now. And I'm now, potentially an injury away from that never happening. And that's probably what they all think, isn't it? And they might not happen again. But I don't know. I feel like something's a little bit weird. And on the subject of weird, there's obviously the sacking of David Weir.
That was an incredible segue. I'll give you that. That was really good.
It was really strange. I mean, the announcement of it was really brief.
Yeah, I thought it was weird as well, yeah.
The statement was classy. It was nice. I appreciate David Weir's the statement. His 3 years has been interesting. I think from fair knowledge, he doesn't handle incomings. He handles outgoings. So it would speak more of the sales that we've had over the last 3 years, mostly including to Chelsea. Maybe that indicates a change in strategy with Tony Bloom.
Not wanting to sell to Chelsea anymore.
And when I looked at this new guy who's coming in, Ago or whatever his name is. Ato.
His dad, Pot, must be proud.
Yeah. And I looked
I
at
did
him,
steal that, sorry.
And from Arsenal, a massive Arsenal reputable page said that he was a bit of a yes man at Arsenal, and he basically told the fan base that they had a good transfer window even when they didn't, and they were in desperate need of reinforcements in January as they went into their title push. So that's a bit of a worry to me. But I won't jump too quickly on this guy because obviously he's new and no idea who he is really, to be honest. But there's certainly some decisions and just a feeling at the moment that's just a little bit off. It's just not quite right. And I think, the David Weir one was really weird, and the timing of it was even weirder. And I don't know. There's a few things to me that's just a little bit like, what's going on?
If it had happened last season, I would have been a little bit more like, oh, okay, because last season was like our transitional season where we were trying to...
Was it?
I feel like we sort of tried to make it a transitional season.
We gaslighted ourselves eventually into calling it one because we underperformed.
But I feel like if you look at it, maybe it was our transitional season, but like now is no matter what happens, this season is not a transitional season. Even if by the end of it we have been absolutely shit for the whole time, and we carry on playing the exact way we have for the rest of the season, there's no way in any way this is a transitional season. And if it happened last season, it would have been a bit more like, oh, okay. But this season we really need to kick on, and we really need to make sure that we solidify that European place, and we do challenge the establishment.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting back and letting teams just play against us. I'm not going to say teams like Everton or teams like Bournemouth, because Everton look all right under David Moyes.
But teams like Bournemouth are sides that we should be winning against, because their recruitment, you would argue, is very similar to how we've recruited in the past, and arguably in the recent times has been better than us. And I think they deserve to win the other day. And I don't think that that's unreasonable. I think Everton are having a similar sort of period now where they're going to start recruiting better. They're going to start pushing on. They've got this new stadium. They've got this new backroom staff. So maybe we're having changes at board level to start counteracting, changing the way we think. Is it a fresh start? Okay, but why have we changed something before it even broke in the first place? Because it feels like we've broken something that was working completely fine. And that's what annoys me. More than anything else, we were sailing as the best ones, and now it feels like we're almost playing catch up by shooting ourselves in the foot constantly and trying to get back to what we could have been. And that's where I feel at the moment. I mean, performances on the pitch help a lot. If say for example we went to Bournemouth and we really did actually control that game and it was really level, there was a lot of opportunities where build up play was really nice, and we were showing something, then fine. Maybe I could think, okay, well, we went there with you could clearly see it was hurts the ball, but it just didn't quite work out. But the intensity needs to be more than just 10 minutes a game. It has to be an 80, 90-minute thing. You have to be proving every single week that you're going to be there and you're to be worried about. Because I'll be honest with you, at the moment, on this season's evidence so far, we're only 4 games in. It's important not to over-exaggerate, but I really don't think that's a European side on that football pitch at the moment. And something needs to change if they want to be.
No, I agree with you, to be fair. And we don't want to constantly be like... Because a lot of people are going to call us bedwetters. A lot of people are going to say that we're...
Care.
A lot of people are going to say that...
It's such a stupid phrase, because it's people that say that try and act like they've got some sort of gospel opinion, but probably they haven't been at the game.
I've honestly got a few people I could name that would that would call, especially me, a bedwetter.
It's mental, because to me, I just don't get it. Football's a game of emotion. It's probably one of the most emotional sports ever. Where would we have been without De Zerbi's emotion on the pitch? If, as I always say to you, if I'm looking over and I'm seeing this guy go absolutely mental, jumping into the fans, going mad, kicking iPads on the floor, thinking, this just to get a perfect pass together, then I'm going to think, my God, I've got to work hard here because he wants me to. And if I don't, look at him over there. And that's going to get me up for it. If I'm looking over there, we're 7-0 down and I'm seeing the bloke still in his chair, I'm thinking, we don't care, so why do I care?
The thing is, we saw with Hertzler the emotion he has when he, like against City when we scored, went absolutely mental, and I loved that.
Yeah,
I loved that.
Agreed.
And I don't want him to be a carbon copy of De Zerbi, because he shouldn't be.
No, he needs to be him.
He needs to be him. He needs to be himself, and it's just like De Zerbi connected with the fans almost straight away, and his passion and his love for what he did like shone through within genuinely seconds of seeing him, I think. And Hertzler, it just doesn't feel like he's connected with the fans he's not going to connect with the fans like De Zerbi ever did. He's not going to, but you just need to see a little bit more from him. And I'm really not hurts around. I don't think I will be unless we really are really, really bad. It might honestly, this season might just be like the promotion season when we're absolutely unbeatable at home, and then couldn't hit.
I don't want us to be
away
back in
from
that
home.
Brighton old school. I used to hate it. I used to hate thinking, oh well, we're away from home, so we're going to lose. I hated that.
I went to like nearly every away game for the
Just
promotion,
know you're
in the
gonna
promotion
lose.
season, and we were absolutely awful.
And then it's 1-0 and you think, well, that's the game over then because we're not going to score.
Yeah,
But if anything, we're just going to hope we don't concede again. And I'm not saying we're that bad. We shouldn't be. We've got a better team than that by far. But there's just something that's just making me feel like I'm not... I don't know. It just doesn't quite feel the same. I mean, Spurs is going to be a massive game, and we'll preview that next episode, which will be out just shortly after this one.
Yeah.
But for me, this is a big 3 weeks. A big 3 weeks because we've got Wolves on that sort of last one of them 3 games, and I mean they're a side that's going to be down there. And if you're coming up against sides like Spurs, Chelsea, Wolves, it's big. But overall, mate, what do you think of sort of our start to the season? If you were to try and keep a level head and have a look at it, what do you actually think?
Not great, but there's clearly we have the quality, and we
100%.
can play like we should.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, it hasn't happened for whatever reason. And some players aren't playing their best. Some players are playing very, very well, but 1 or 2 players can't like control the whole game and can't have us win games every single time. Sometimes that might happen when you smash and grab a game or something, but like that hasn't happened for us so far. Let's say there's stuff to be confident about if we can play the way we did in that last half hour.
Well, Minte and Mitoma are the ones for me.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have played well this season. They've tried to get us out of the trouble. And same with Jorginho, to be fair. I think he didn't have his best game, don't get me wrong. I really appreciate him coming over to the fans at the end. Everyone went off the pitch and he was the only one came back out again on his own just to come over and sort of just put his hands up and sort of give us a clap. I really appreciate that as a fan. I think that's one of the most important things for me is that end bit. You see a lot there. You see a lot of the realness of the players. At Everton, it was similar. You had JP come over. He's always one of the first. So is Mitoma. Jack always is there as well. Obviously, he wasn't the other day because of obvious reason. But, you get to see the realness of players and them as a person. And as I always say, that's what I don't see from Fabian, whatever his name is. Sorry, Fabian. Whenever he comes to us, we don't get that. You got to come over and clap us when you win. You got to come over and clap us when we lose. It's not hard. Like come and face the music a little bit. And these are your fans. We're here to pay to watch your team. We're here for you. But if you're not going to come over to us, it's not a surprise when people are thinking all these different thoughts. Whether we're right or wrong now, we're going to have more thoughts that could be wrong because we don't know what's right. We don't have an actual gauge of really who he is. I don't feel like I want to have a bit of personality,
You talk about that promotion season. Our whole thing was together, and then we got promoted. Exactly. It was together in the Premier League, and that's sort of gone. Yeah, that has sort of gone, and
it really came back under De Zerbi.
It really came back under De Zerbi, especially in Europa League. We just need that again. I feel like a lot of the fan discourse and like there is so much discourse between our fans, which I think is really, really stupid sometimes. And some of it, people like the bedwetter stuff, people just get so wound up for people having their own opinion.
Yeah,
and we're allowed to have our own opinion. We spend a lot of money. We go week in, week out and watch this, and you're allowed to be frustrated. Just because we were crap 30 years ago doesn't mean we're not allowed to be frustrated. And it's just it's disappointing seeing that like that whole mantra towards like our play and our club has sort of gone now, but we can get it back.
We can, of course, we can.
And again, the last half hour against Spurs, the atmosphere in the Amex was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and
we were so up for it, and that's all it is. And I like the work that I just want to shout out the North Nine, really, really trying to get a bit of a better atmosphere. And like the North Stand's always really good atmosphere. Obviously, I sit in the North Stand. I have for 10 years. And it's always been really, really good. And very rarely is there really a bad atmosphere in there. And I like the work the North Line are doing, trying to just bring up the atmosphere a bit, get a few get some more stuff going.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, again, just that last half hour against City, there was so much. We've spoke about it so much, and I feel like we're going to keep on speaking about it so much.
Yeah, that last half an hour.
especially if we carry on playing like this, because it is such a sign of what one, the atmosphere can be like, and two, how we can play. And I don't get why.
Well, we had them rattled, didn't we?
We did have them rattled, and I get that when we're playing really, really bad, the fans aren't going to be up for it. But as bad as we are, we also need to do our part as well.
Yeah.
And people constantly getting annoyed at people for their own opinions. And I'm sorry to say it, but the boomers getting annoyed because they saw us when we were crap. Fine, you saw us when we were crap. We're a completely different team now.
Yeah.
Completely different team. We've been in the Premier League for nearly 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
Like, best part of a decade. We're allowed to get annoyed. If we're trying to push on for Europe, we're making these big signings.
Yeah.
Let us be annoyed.
Yeah.
We're allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah.
So
I
boomers,
agree.
shut up.
Well, it happened at Bournemouth. I mean, to be honest, I think that our away fans, I always say, I think we've got one of the best away followings in the league. We do.
What are you on about? Crystal Palace have got such good away fans.
Yeah. We sell out. We sell out everywhere. We are everywhere. We're always there. As I say, always sold out. We've got the furthest distance to travel, but yet we're always there. And I think we're always singing, even if it's not great. I mean, the Bournemouth game was pretty horrible, but we were still there to the end, and we always are. And that's what annoys me. You know, appreciate us, because we do a lot for this club, and it feels like the fans definitely get a bit more excluded than they used to. And that's why one of my sole purposes of still always doing Talk Seagulls is just to be able to give the voice to the fans.
Yeah.
You know, not just have you get the media interviews and whatever, but I could have gone down that route, but I wanted to be a fan, I want to have the fans' opinions, because that's ultimately what carries this football club, and that's what saved this football club. So it's what matters. And yeah, appreciate us. And then we can challenge the establishment together, as opposed to not really knowing if you care and not really knowing if this player is going to leave next year. You know what I mean? It's just not the way I think this club should be, personally.
Talking about not knowing if the players are going to leave, Kaoru Mitoma staying.
Legend.
Absolute
Icon.
Brighton legend.
Hero.
We love you, Mitoma. We absolutely love you. Honestly, I think I'm in love with you. You are that good.
I know. I do love Mitoma as well, and Minte's going the right way about being his sort of successor as well.
He looks like he wants it. Every single game, he looks like he wants it.
Yeah.
Brute, you've already said,
Georgie, yeah.
comes out to the players. Just he's got this energy, especially when we win. He's always got the admin's phone. He's always dancing, and he absolutely loves it.
That's what.
That is all you need. All you need is a little bit of passion, a little bit of heart, and showing you care about the club. And even if we're crap, right?
It goes a long way.
It goes such a long way, rather than just being so boring and so just saying what you think we want you to hear. Here he is.
I got it in the end.
He's got it.
The Carew card, look, what a legend.
Oh, what a legend.
If I'm not sponsored by Tops in the next 2 weeks, I don't even know what I'm doing wrong. But no, yeah, Carew, Jorginho, Van Hecke, Minte, appreciate you, because you're all legends. And
Obviously,
slander,
Donkey.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Dunk goes without saying. He's just him, and he Dunk.
I know, obviously, he made that mistake, but I think for the best part of this season so far, he's been very good.
Exactly. So we know the players that know will know. I think. I think if they're all watching, if this is a room and the squad were all here, I think the ones who knew would get what I'm saying and would get what you're saying. And I think Carew, etc., they're all, as we've mentioned, would all be in agreement with us. Anyway, Luke, I think that's just about touches on everything. But I
love what we were like, there's going to be a lot to talk about, and we've gone on for absolutely ages.
It was justified.
As always.
Thank you for watching again. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Kaoru Mitoma for carrying us again. 5 goals against Bournemouth is pretty impressive. Follow Luke, follow Talk Seagulls. We'll see you here at the Caxton Arms as well. Make sure you come here. It's always a good one. And yeah, hopefully some better results are on the way and up the Albion. Goodbye.